feel no waste time. Come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, but I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. I don't feel no waste time. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, but I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. I'll say it one more time. I don't feel no waste time, 'cause I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. Hey, nobody told me the road would be easy, but I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.
Let's give Bishop-elect Marvin Winans thank you and another round of applause really quickly. So today's a special day. Today marks 31 years of Cornerstone history. So I'm going to be the first to say happy anniversary. My name is Matthew Mebane. I'm a 1996 graduate of Cornerstone Schools. I actually went to high school in the building that we are in today. that is now a Cornerstone school. So thank you, Clark, for doing that for us. So why is Cornerstone important to me? Cornerstone has laid a foundation of educational excellence that I've taken not only into the world, but into every aspect of my life, whether it be community, whether it be business, or with my family. So we are here today to dedicate the Cornerstone Center for the Complete Life. But before we begin our program today, let us all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before we go on, let me acknowledge a few people. Civil rights leader, Ambassador Andrew Young, his wife, Carolyn, the CEO of Delta Airlines, Ed Bastian, Councilman Roy McAllister, Commissioner Monique Baker McCormick, leaders from the Detroit Public Police, leaders from the Detroit Police Department, and many other dignitaries here today. Welcome. Joining me on the stage are two fellow alumni of Cornerstone that I would call friends and colleagues. So Desmond Crenshaw and Charity Dean. I'm going to give it over to Charity.
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Charity Dean. I graduated from Cornerstone Middle School in 1997. Cornerstone has meant a lot to me over my life, my short life. And it's not just because I met my husband at Cornerstone, but Cornerstone taught me about leadership, taught me about life. After Cornerstone, I went to Academy of the Sacred Heart for high school, Oakland University, where I studied political science, and U of D Law School. I am an attorney, but now I'm leading an organization called the Metro Detroit Black Business Alliance and taking a leap of faith from my role in city government to start something to help others is something that was birthed in me at Cornerstone School. So I'm so excited to be here to share on this joyous occasion with you. Thank you and welcome.
Hello, great people. My name is Desmond Crenshaw, and I'm also a 1997 graduate of Cornerstone Schools. And Cornerstone took a young boy who was in a world full of drugs and dysfunction, and they prepared him and filled him with opportunity and sent him into a world that he didn't even know existed. And it was a blessing for me to come from U of D, Jesuit, and also to go on to Central Michigan University, being the first person in my family to ever graduate. And as I sit here amongst all these unbelievable people who have done so many unbelievable things, it's just funny that a young boy from the quote-unquote hood with a drug-addicted father will be here amongst royalty who love him. So thank you.
So now we are going to take you to each of our 5 campuses today and virtually introduce you to students. So first up, we have Jefferson Douglas Academy.
Good morning, Ambassador Young. Good morning, Mr. Bastian, and all honored guests. My name is George Latham IV, and I am in the 1st grade at Jefferson Douglas Academy. My goal for the future is to become the president and the best-sellers author of my book, I Can Be.
Hello, my name is Kristen Elliott and I'm in the 8th grade. My goal for the future is to become one of the top selling real estate agents and to continue to grow my business, Polish Brokers by Devani. Welcome to Cornerstone Jefferson Douglas Academy, serving students from kindergarten through 8th grade.
Awesome.
Thomas Jefferson did the Declaration of Independence. He was the third president of the United States. Jefferson doubled the size of the United States through the Louisiana Purchase. He founded the University of Virginia.
Frederick Douglass was born into slavery and taught himself to read. He escaped when he was 20. Douglass wrote 3 autobiographies about himself. He was a famous speaker and helped others to be free. He also published his own newspaper, the North Star.
Cornerstone Jefferson Douglas Academy. Let me hear you roar!
We're training now to Lincoln King High School.
That was very cute. Okay, now we have students from Washington Parks Academy.
Good morning! To Ambassador Young and all special guests gathered today. Hello, my name is Madison Jennings. I am in the 4th grade at Washington Parks Academy. Our school serves students from kindergarten through 8th grade. My goal for the future is to be an ice cream roller and to own my own ice cream parlor.
My name is Carden Wilder. My goal for the future is to play for the NFL and to be an artist. I'm also in the 4th grade.
George Washington was a founding father of the United States. He was the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army. He was chief presiding officer of the Constitutional Convention that wrote our current Constitution. He was elected the first president of the United States. He is the father of our country.
Rosa Parks was a civil rights activist. She was a granddaughter of slaves. She refused to surrender her seat to a white passenger. She supported Dr. King in the Montgomery bus boycott and was arrested. Later, Mrs. Parks and her family moved to Detroit. She worked as a secretary in the office of Mr. John Conyers. He was a United States representative.
Thank you all again, and back to you on Grove Street.
Next up, we have Madison Carver Academy.
Welcome to Madison Carver Academy. My name is Casey Daniels, and I'm in 8th grade. My goal for the future is to become a doctor and run my own practice. Thank you for your time and for your work and for your commitment, Ambassador Young. We are honored to have you with us today.
My name is Mike Harry Bradshaw, and I'm in the 8th grade. My goal in the future is to become a graphic/interior designer. Madison Carver serves students in kindergarten through 8th grade.
James Madison was one of America's founding fathers, and he wrote one of the first drafts of the United States Constitution. He co-wrote the Federalist Papers and sponsored the Bill of Rights. Madison was the 4th president of the United States and served 2 terms.
George Washington Carver was born enslaved, gaining freedom when the Civil War ended. Booker T. Washington hired Carver to run the Tuskegee Institute Agricultural Department. Carver devised over 100 products using one major crop, the peanut. Contrary to popular belief, however, he did not invent peanut butter.
Ambassador Young and other esteemed guests, thank you again for your time and your commitment to the students of Cornerstone. Now back to Lincoln King.
All right, next up we have Lincoln King Academy.
Hello from Lincoln King High School Scholastica campus serving 9th and 10th grade students, in conjunction with the Grove Street campus that's serving 11th and 12th grade. My name is Omar Witcher and I'm in the 9th grade. My goal for the future is to continue representing my school as a leader in the hall and a scholar in the classroom.
And I am Jeremiah Tobert, and I am also in the 9th grade. My goal for the future is to become an engineer that designs homes for the less fortunate in my community. Everyone deserves a nice home, no matter how much you make.
Abraham Lincoln's formal schooling was very limited as he had to work constantly to help support his family. He was a great debater. He lost his election to be a U.S. Senator because he opposed slavery. In 1861, he became the 16th President of the United States. He won the Civil War to free the slaves. Like Dr. King, he was assassinated trying to make life better for the people.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. dedicated his life to the fight for justice and civil rights. He founded the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, dedicated to abolishing legalized segregation. He led marches and protests throughout the nation. Ambassador Young, thank you for helping Dr. King. Dr. King was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee on April 4th in 1968. But his legacy lives on as long as we can live a complete life.
We return now to our friends at Lincoln King Grove Street.
And last but not least, Adams Young Academy.
Hello, good morning, honored guests. My name is Kirsten Davis, and my goal for the future is to be a successful woman in life, dancer, singer, or veterinarian. Hello, my name is Arian Hayes, and my goal for the future is to be. Hello, my name is Arian Hayes here at Adams Young, and my goal for the future is to be a football player. My name is Kirsten Davis, and I'm in the 5th grade at Cornerstone's newest school, the Adams Young Academy, which serves students from kindergarten to 5th grade down the street from where you are now, and 6th to 8th grade in the same building where this ceremony is taking place. John Adams was a lawyer and a leader in making possible our country's freedom from England. At a critical time, John Adams persuaded a slaveholder, Thomas Jefferson, to write the words that would one day free the slaves. He did not own slaves and wrote many well-known letters to his wife Abigail. He was the 2nd President of the United States. Ambassador Young, it's hard to present a biography of you with you watching. I will say what is important. You are married and have 4 children. You worked closely with Dr. Martin Luther King for many years. Thank you for that. You were elected to Congress and also served as the United States Ambassador to the United Nations. You were mayor of Atlanta. You are a friend to our school. Thank you for that. Thank you, Ambassador Young. On behalf of my fellow students, we are honored to attend a school that bears your name. We return now to Lincoln King High School.
That actually almost made me tear up. And like that young man, I wanted to be a football player, but it didn't just quite work out that way. But blessing. Eric Gardner has been with Cornerstone for over a decade. He also led the music for Arnold Palmer's historic visit to Cornerstone. The music chosen today is a reflection of what Mahalia Jackson meant to the civil rights movement and also to Dr. King. And Ms. Jackson, she sang all of these songs, and Ambassador Young was there for each. So enjoy, ladies and gentlemen, Voices of Freedom.
more time for the Voices of Freedom. So before I launched the Metro Detroit Black Business Alliance, for 7 years I had the pleasure of working for Mayor Mike Duggan. Unfortunately, the mayor could not be here. He was pulled away at the last minute, but having worked for him, I know how much he supports Cornerstone. Mayor Duggan was instrumental in helping Cornerstone obtain the property for the Adams Young Academy. And last week, he stopped by to have lunch with the staff to see the progress that has been made. The mayor has asked teachers what his office can do to make the school and city better for the students. Several items, including speed humps on one of the school's bordering streets and easier access to social service programs, were discussed. Mayor Duggan promised quick responses and continued dedication to making Detroit a better city for everyone. Thank you.
Hello again. I am elated that Clark has tapped me on the shoulder. As most of you know, you can't say no to him. But myself and the gentleman standing there that I'm going to introduce are now the co-chair of something very integral and special to Cornerstone, the Turning Point Invitational. I'm going to let Chris talk a little bit more about it and tee it up, but what I wanted to say is I think the name is so significant, and I think as we do this, we're standing on the shoulders of giants, and we thank you, Ed Bastian, and thank you, Andrew Young, for being here, for helping to start and catalyst for kind of the next turning point for Cornerstone. So Chris, my co-chair, come up and talk about what Turning Point is.
Well, first of all, that music was wonderful, and thank you, Matthew, for the kind introduction. Arnold Palmer is really a hero, and he has a great rags to riches story. And before I introduce the video, I want to share my favorite Arnold Palmer quote, and that is that the most rewarding things you do in life are often those that look like they cannot be done. And when Arnold Palmer traveled to Michigan, and specifically Grosse Pointe, for the 1954 U.S. Amateur Championship, he was a traveling paint salesman. He was not a professional golfer. He didn't have endorsement deals with Nike and Titleist and every other golf company. He was selling paint out of the back of his car. And so the one thing that I will echo that Matt said is that the name is very important. And I think the same way that the Turning Point Invitational is a nod to Arnold Palmer and the great feats that he accomplished at the U.S. Amateur Championship in 1954, we can also use this day as a turning point in Cornerstone's history for the Center for Complete Life and where we go from here. So let's let it be a turning point for all of us. And without further ado, I'll introduce the video for the Turning Point Invitational, which is our annual golf event where we look to fundraise and raise awareness for Cornerstone schools.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Fred Ridley, and it is a privilege for me to be with you to celebrate the dedication of Cornerstone's Center for the Complete Life, and to honor Ambassador Andrew Young, the great and humble civil rights leader and a counselor to many, including Dr. Martin Luther King. In 2004, I participated in the inaugural Cornerstone Turning Point Invitational.
A tense gallery at the Country Club of Detroit sees Arnold Palmer tee off in the final round of the National Amateur.
It honored the 50th anniversary of Arnold Palmer's Detroit victory in the United States Amateur Golf Championship.
The turning point. That's kind of started it all, didn't it? It was a turning point.
Mr. Palmer said winning the U.S. Amateur was the turning point in his life, as it gave him the confidence he could compete and win against the best golfers in the world. In 2016, one of those friends, and perhaps the greatest golfer of all time, Jack Nicklaus, came to Detroit to join me and other like-minded people for another Turning Point Invitational. Mr. Nicklaus's appearance and the resulting success of that event helped make possible the Adams Young K-8 Academy. Most importantly, the event then and now makes possible turning points in the lives of children in Detroit.
I had the opportunity this afternoon to go to the Cornerstone schools and see what is happening there. The work and the things that have gone together to make this happen.
Turning Point is a big part of our life, and the things that you're doing there at the Cornerstone School and giving the opportunity for young kids to grow and progress in life, and Andrew Young and following what he has led, great civil rights leader, and respect him greatly, and you're on the right path. So keep up the good work, affect a lot of young kids' lives, and make them better citizens and better Americans.
I thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this joyous occasion. To Ambassador Young and to all my friends at Cornerstone, your journey has impacted the lives of so many people, and I am glad to be a part of it.
My name is Clark Durant, and I'm here this morning with my dear friend, Reverend Horace Sheffield. But I'm also here with Councilman Roy McAllister. Both of these gentlemen have been a big help to Cornerstone in so many different ways. But what I'd like to say right now are really only two things. I am grateful, particularly to two men, and they're up there. One is Cardinal Adam Maida, and the other is William Pulte. Both men have been champions for Cornerstone. It was 31 years ago today that God used that man, Adam Maida, at the invitation of Mayor Coleman Young, to speak before the Economic Club of Detroit. And there, Cardinal Maida cast a vision of being partners in building a new city. And it was a city of the Spirit. And what Cardinal Maida did was to draw, as Martin Luther King did 37 years prior to that, on the wisdom of a man named John writing from the island of Patmos. And both of these great men, Adam Maida and Martin Luther King, at the beginning of their public work, drew on the same wisdom. And it is the wisdom and the humility that has brought us all together today. So on this 31st anniversary, the cake is in this room, and the candles are being lit, and I'm grateful to all of you.
My name is Reverend Sheffield, and I'm the chair of the Lincoln King Adams Young Academy Board. And Clark scripted for me at this point to tell you why I'm here. We're all here for the same reason, because Clark told us to be here. I'm also here because I believe in Cornerstone Schools. I'm here because they do what young Frederick Douglass overheard his master say to his wife about him. If you teach young Frederick to read, you will forever unfit him to be a slave. So I'm here because at Cornerstone, we are freeing these young people to be whatever they choose to be. If you build a better mousetrap, write a better book, or preach a better sermon, mankind will make a beaten path to your door. The turning point for freedom was the American Declaration of Independence. It contained the American promise. It was and is the trumpet of Joshua. The trumpet never ceased to sound over many generations, and the Jericho walls of slavery did come a-tumbling down. Ambassador Andrew Young, you and countless others, black and white, have been in Joshua's army even until this day, and we thank you and commend you.
I have more to say, but I just want to say the voices of freedom will bring Jericho to us. Thank you.
Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. You may talk about the men of Gideon, talk about the men of Saul, but there's none like good old Joshua and the battle of Jericho. Oh, Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. Right up to the walls of Jericho, they marched with spear in their hand. Go below those ramparts, Joshua cried, 'cause the battle is in my hand. Hallelujah. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, and the wall came tumbling. Hallelujah. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, and the walls tumbling down.
The Turning Point, the Cornerstone Center for the Complete Life. What's a turning point?
My definition of a turning point is when you are going down a path and something changes.
I believe a turning point is a distinct period of time where things change.
The sun rising from darkness.
A flower blooming. A caterpillar turning into a butterfly.
Chicken hatching out of an egg.
Oh, the Declaration of Independence.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by the Creator with certain inalienable rights, that amongst these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These words were written by Thomas Jefferson. He was recruited to write them by John Adams. I am a free man because of these founders and many others. And it's good that Cornerstone honors these founders and civil rights leaders in the naming of their schools. Each person was a turning point in our American story. George Washington and Rosa Parks, James Madison and George Washington Carver, Thomas Jefferson and Frederick Douglass, Abraham Lincoln, and my dear friend, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. And of course, I'm deeply honored to be paired with John Adams, the architect of the Massachusetts Constitution and the model of our own Constitution. Yes, in order to form a more perfect union.
Thank you, Ambassador Young. Your life is certainly a turning point for us all in the unfolding of the American promise. My name is Kimberly Gill, and I'm a news anchor here in Detroit at WDIV Local 4. Believe it or not, I used to drive 18-wheelers for FedEx to put myself through college. That was my turning point. Ambassador Young was born in 1932 in New Orleans. He attended Dillard and Howard Universities and earned a divinity degree from Hartford Seminary. He met Dr. King in February of 1957, and 3 months later, he drove all night from his church in Thomasville, Georgia, to attend the prayer pilgrimage for freedom in Washington, D.C. on the 3rd anniversary of Brown versus Board of Education. That began a lifelong close relationship between Dr. King and Andrew Young.
Yes, black men as well as white men would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Those turning point words of the Declaration have inspired men and women, both black and white, to risk all for the promises of the American Revolution. Their stories, founders, civil rights leaders, and many unknown are part of the unfolding of the American promise to help make possible a complete life.
On September 16th, 1775. John Adams wrote his wife a letter, and he described an extraordinary moment at Carpenter Hall where the First Continental Congress had just convened. He spoke of an extemporaneous prayer that brought unity out of what had been division. That prayer was the beginning of our country, became the first prayer in the Congress. As a former member of Congress, let me recite that prayer for you. O Lord, our Heavenly Father, who dost from thy throne behold the dwellers of earth, and reignest with power supreme and uncontrolled over all the kingdoms, empires, and governments. Look down in mercy, we beseech thee, on these American states who have fled to thee from the rod of the oppressor and thrown themselves on thy gracious protection, desiring to be henceforth dependent only on thee. I hope in our days we all, Democrats and Republicans, shall hear the humility of that prayer again, and always remember that there is no future without forgiveness. Such can only be a turning point if we do.
The Center for the Complete Life will prepare students to live for a purpose born to serve others and walk always, as Dr. King said, in the love of the Creator of all things.
Cornerstone was the turning point in my life for me.
It's a game changer.
This is when they grow. This is when they become who they are.
Having a quality education can level the playing field.
I thought about this is the opportunity for me to lock in. This was the opportunity for me to change the trajectory of my life and what I thought I was going to be able to do.
I definitely know that this was the right decision for me and definitely saved my life.
My name is Andrew Young.
Your life is an inspiration. Thank you.
I would say thank you for paving the way. I would say thank you for being fearless, because that's what I aspire to, and that's what I hope my children will aspire to, and I hope our children's children will aspire to that.
I like to thank him for all that he's done, what he continues to do, and thank you for being a part of the legacy that will continue on.
Cornerstone Schools has been a turning point in Detroit for more than 30 years. Be a turning point. Live a complete life.
Even I follow a script, I just want you to know. No, that's all right. Let him go. Here.
Hello, honored guests. My name is David Tyler, and I'm in the 5th grade at Adams Academy. Thank you, Ambassador Young, for your hard work and personal sacrifice, along with Dr. King and others, so that I and all my fellow students can live complete lives. We are grateful to be able to benefit from the original and unfolding promise of America, as Dr. King spoke from the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in 1963. Now, I want to introduce you to one of our teachers. This is Marilyn Thomas, and she teaches 5th grade language arts at Adams Young. Every day, Mrs. Thomas and all 140 teachers throughout Cornerstone's network of schools shows love for her students. Okay, I just missed it. She shows love through her words and deeds. All our teachers go above and beyond to make sure every student is valued, treated fairly, and respected. They give all of themselves so that each of us may have more abundant lives. To Mrs. Thomas and all Cornerstone teachers, thank you for your love.
Hello, everyone. My name is Palace Bibbs, and I am in the 8th grade at Adams Young Middle School. As you heard earlier, John Adams was one of the few statesmen of his time that did not own slaves. We are grateful to him for his beliefs and his stance on slavery. We are also grateful that he was able to work with people that he disagreed with in order to help America break away from England and establish this great country. We are honored to attend a school named for John Adams and Ambassador Young. I'd like you to meet Miss Atkinson. She teaches ELA 7th grade and is a wonderful teacher. Miss Atkinson and all Cornerstone teachers is a pillar of inspiration to the more than 3,000 students in our schools. Teachers work closely together to inspire one another to be better today than yesterday, and they inspire that same thing in us. Through their commitment and dedication, they inspire us to work harder, work smarter, and to learn more every day. Thank you, Ms. Atkinson, and all of your colleagues for inspiring all of us and each other to be great. Now, I'd like to bring up one of our principals from the Washington Parks Academy, Mr. Philip Price.
Reminded that silence is the background of all thought. I'm looking at these students behind me that you probably didn't know 4 years ago, but I knew them. And so my pride is a little overjoyed right now. You know Clark got all of these things written down, so I'm gonna get to them in a minute. But y'all need to know I'm Fela Mae's little boy from Grand Prairie, Texas, right out of Dallas, and I'm gonna go my own way sometime. I remember reading. I studied Lincoln a lot. He's one of there are so many heroes along the way, but Lincoln said sometimes you have to go solo in your decisions. In the Emancipation Proclamation, Lincoln had to go solo. I'm reminded about that. Now, y'all need to know, I see Reverend Perkins over there. He's on the board of my college. It's just a little church college, Methodist college in Texas called Wiley College, home of the great debaters, as y'all know. I'm very proud of that fact of going to Wiley College because that was my turning point, because somebody there believed in me, and that helped me go to these next steps. It's an honor to serve as a principal. We have so many great principals at Cornerstone, and it's what you do. It's a service. You serve people. I serve students. I serve teachers. I'm at the bottom of that. I'm not at the top. And I come out to serve. Every day when he wakes me up, I ask for strength to go out and serve. That's what I do. I've been doing that since Fela Mae taught me back in the 60s down in Dallas, where we were still in Jim Crow. But I'm gonna go on now. Preachers and teachers from Wiley College. I'm a little bit of both, so hang in there with me. Ambassador Young. I don't even know if thank you is enough. I'm gonna say thank you, but you know that's not enough for everything that you've done on a journey. I was a little old lad looking at you on TV. I can still remember Mama making me listen to y'all on the radio, putting us in front of that black and white TV. Some of y'all remember them black and white TVs, don't you? Okay, I just want to make sure. So I want to thank you for your sacrifice. I'm honored to be here and in your presence, and he's a fraternity brother, and I got to throw that in too now, so I have to do that. I want to introduce a few other people from Cornerstone, and we got scholars, we got teachers, and I want to introduce some of those. First, 8th grader, Jeremy Rose, language arts teacher, O.D. Lofton from Jefferson Douglas. Y'all in here? Are they coming on up? Come on up here. I've had the pleasure, now some of our team members have been here a long time. I didn't get here until 2017, but I got here as quick as I could. So we have another 8th grader. Now this is Kobe Bateman and social studies teacher Terrell Brown from Washington Parks. Well, y'all come on up. I'm honored to serve as the principal for Washington Parks at this time and serve these two gentlemen here. 7th grader, Kennedy Hardy, and social study teachers, Kim Cuber. Thank y'all. Thank you. We have from Lincoln King, Nakedra Cross and Brittany Wynn. Senior class president from our high school, Talea Smith and Miss Matthews. It's an honor to see all of them here, and I'm just really proud and honored to be with all of you. Now, I want to invite, Mr. Duran is already here. I want to invite Mr. McAllister back up to the stage, and you're already here. That's a beautiful thing.
Let's give Principal Price a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to give honor to God. I am Councilmember Roy McAllister, Jr., and welcome to District 2. My staff that is here, could you please stand up and be recognized? My staff, stand up and be recognized. I also have to recognize my partner from the Mayor's Office, the District Manager, Kim Tandy. Kim Tandy. To Mr. Cabot, I'd also like to recognize two people that has really been influential in my life, and that's Reverend and Judge Hood, please. Ambassador Young and Mrs. Young, thank you so very much for not only coming, but what all of you have done through the years. And what I'd like to do is reflect on some of the comments made by Ambassador Young and Kimberly Gill. And that is what Dr. Martin Luther King dreamed as far as life. And that is to live life completely. To live it not on the shortness of life, but the length of life. to be that person born for a purpose, to exhale the impurities and breathe to be a person for others. Not the lowliness of life, but the height of life. Acknowledge God. For ladies and gentlemen, life is a journey which requires humanity, patience, joy, courage, and as Ambassador said, forgiveness. Ambassador, Mrs. Young, this Cornerstone, surrounded by neighborhoods and communities in District 2, within the city of Detroit, is that journey and that turning point for life. And with that, I want to introduce to some, acknowledge to many, the architect for this Cornerstone life, Mr. Clark Durant.
I'm older than you, Price, so I can have those moments too. I am grateful to so many. I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful to Adam Maida, Bill Pulte. I'm also grateful to the woman that came in. The woman who came into my life 50 years ago. She couldn't be here. She's watching by live stream. She was on crutches last night and just was in pain this morning and couldn't be here. But I'd like you to give Susan a standing ovation. It's been a beautiful journey, but no journey is smooth. There have been ups and there have been downs, smooth seas and seas with waves and storms in these last 31 years. But through it all, there's been one constant, and that is the deepest love that was shown to each person at the very moment of creation and all the days even unto today. And it's our job, our calling for each of us to live that love, even with our enemies, even with those we disagree with. That's the real measure. It's easy to love what you love. It's hard to love what might be at a distance from you. There were two people for many years who wanted me to meet Andrew Young. One is sitting in this room. He served on the first board of our charter schools when we began the charter part of Cornerstone in 2008. And I want you to give him a round of applause. It's Reverend Nick Hood. Nick, would you stand up, please? Nick and his father was a wonderful man who I had the opportunity to know. Nick is Ambassador Young's godson. And Nick had always said to me, "You got to meet my godfather." There was another man in my life, a man named Doug Coe. Doug was a man behind the National Prayer Breakfast, but he had no title. He was a man without portfolio, except for one thing. He wanted to teach all of us, again, how do you love even what seems the unlovable? How do you make the stranger a friend? How do you feed the hungry, clothe the naked, and visit those in prison? Those two men said to me, you must meet Andrew Young. And it wasn't until the autumn of our lives, early winter of maybe yours, that we had the chance to meet in, of all places, a place called the Millennium Gate Museum. And my wife and I had come down for an exhibition, and the mayor was the honorary co-chair. And when we went through the receiving line, and I told the president of the museum, you're not going to believe this. These two people have wanted me to meet this guy all these years. And now it is here, of all places, with the name Millennium attached to it. So when I went up and introduced myself and told the ambassador, I called him Mr. Mayor then, told him of the two people that had wanted me to meet him, he was surprised that out of these two very different worlds on one level, that we had that common bond. So at that moment, in a receiving line in a museum opening, Andy Young and I were down praying for the city of Detroit, for its people, for these schools, for our teachers, our students, families, and we were doing it in the most unlikely of places. We have traveled together and visited prisoners in prison. We have done other things, and I'm very grateful. So now I'm coming down off of here because we have a very special announcement and surprise. So as you know, my dear friend, that we are beginning the next journey, this part of the next journey of Cornerstone, and we've established the Cornerstone Center for the Complete Life. But from this day forward, it will be known as the Andrew J. Young Cornerstone Center for the Complete Life. Stay up for just a second. Now, before we, we just did. So, Ambassador Andy, all of the people that you talked about in the video are all here. And then on the left, where we ask, what is the complete life? Where it's of length and breadth and height, and those virtues that need to be alongside, which unfortunately right now is blocked from your view, but it's humility, and it's patience, it's courage, it's joy, and it's forgiveness. And on the right side, and I'd like the three of them to now come up and join the students, we have and are honoring our three Cornerstone alums, Desmond Crenshaw, Charity Dean, and Matthew Mebane. Let's give them a round of applause. Now, there was a great picture of you that I've always loved, and that is in that parking lot in March of 1965, when you were with the men and women who are going to walk across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, what became Bloody Sunday. You were standing there with your hand held high, and you were blessing John Lewis, and all of those who are about to make that march. I would ask if you would do the same blessing, because all of these teachers and students and our graduates represent the future of the Andrew J. Young Center, Cornerstone Center for the Complete Life. Here, I'll hold it for you. Go ahead and raise your hand.
Well, before I start to bless you, let me say that thank you. And it's more than justification for anything and everything I've done, because I have really enjoyed the 89 years that I've lived so far. And it has, well, it's just been wonderful. And I've been in near tears because as I saw your teachers hug you, I remember the teachers that hugged me. And teachers did so much for me, I ended up marrying 2 of them at different times, one for 40 years and another for 25 years. And I can't get along without teachers, because teachers believed in me when nobody else did. Teachers loved me when I was unlovable. And teachers, well, make all the difference in the world. And so I want to ask God's blessing upon the teachers and the students and the sponsors and the donors and those who pray for us and those who love us when we're unlovable and those who have believed in us that we could make a way where there is no way, because they knew the power of a living God. They knew the presence of a Holy Spirit. They knew the example of a Jesus who loved and who gave his life for those who did not believe in themselves, but who, through him, began to find meaning and purpose and direction in life. May the Spirit of the Lord rest upon you. May the powers of this nation and the peace and blessings of this planet be a part of your ministry and your prayers and your joys. And 2 of my favorite people were both very poor. One was blind. Louis Armstrong, who from the poorest part of New Orleans learned to sing "It's a Wonderful World." And Ray Charles, who was blind, who took America the Beautiful to a new level by starting with the second verse. "Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine. Go in peace, and lead the world to that peace that passes all understanding. For we have all been caught up in a turning point for ourselves, but may you, O Father, mercifully empower us to make this a turning point for Detroit, for Michigan, for the United States of America, for Georgia, and even Texas, and help us to make a way out of no way because of your love, your mercy, and your lasting presence and guidance. Amen.
Okay. Oh, wait. Yeah, we've done everything. Thank you, everybody. We got some singing. Back to your seats.
My country 'tis of the sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the Pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. Our Father's God, to the author of liberty, to thee we sing. Long may our land be bright with freedom's holy light. Protect us by thy might. Praise God, our
Danielle Gray. I asked Eric Gardner, who I want to say a word about in just a second, I said, who's going to be Mahalia Jackson? Who will have the heart and the spirit that will reflect her love for all people? And he said, I have just the right person. And her name is Danielle Gray. And he did a very dangerous thing. He gave me her cell number. And Danielle was coming back to Detroit from St. Louis. And she was in her car. And there was a little background noise. I said, don't worry about it. I said, I just want to thank you and let you know that you've been asked to do something that will be special for generations to come. And that is to lead the singing of songs where Ambassador Andrew Young was present at each of the particular events. The one we closed with just then, was the last song sung by Mahalia Jackson at the Prayer Pilgrimage for Freedom in 1957. Jericho was in 1964 in Chicago at Soldier Field. And the Come On Over was at the 1963 March on Washington. So Danielle and all of the singers of freedom, voices of freedom, you have represented all of that today. Let's give them another round of applause. Stay up here. There is one more song, but there's also one more person that I want to introduce to you. He is a man I got the very gift of getting to know on a small island in Michigan. We know it as Mackinac. And we all go for different reasons. I was up there as one of the conferences, and I happened to be sitting next to a guy who was a chief financial officer of an airline. That man was Ed Bastian. Now, you know, it's hard, forgive me, it's hard sometimes to get to know a finance guy. But Ed Bastian is more than a finance guy. He is a man for others, and he resonates the richness and depth that it takes to live that kind of life. And Ed Bastian today is the CEO of the finest airline in the world, and it's Delta Airlines. I'm almost a diamond. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you, to close our program before our final song, Mr. Ed Bastian, the CEO of Delta Airlines.
Well, thank you, Clark, and I want to thank everyone from the Cornerstone community for just a wonderful, wonderful celebration and welcoming Delta to be part of this great celebration, both last night as well as this morning. It's been moving. It's been a glimpse into our future, and I cannot tell you how meaningful it's been now that we've seen where our sponsorship as well as our resource support will go to see the great work that's being done here. And then particularly to honor a great American, a great friend, Ambassador Andrew Young. Andy has been yes, please give Andy another round. Andy has been a long time friend. It's not just a friend, but a member of our team at Delta. He was a long time and still a member in my mind of our board and our leadership for many, many years. And I'd argue that Delta would not be the company or the airline that it is today without Ambassador Young's vision and leadership and encouragement dating back many, many years to when he was mayor of Atlanta. He brought the Olympic Games to our country as well as to our city of Atlanta and was the spur to get Delta to finally become not just a great airline in our country, but a great airline in the world, including becoming, and who we are today, the largest airline with direct service between the U.S. and Africa. That direct continent link is huge, and Ambassador Young deserves tremendous thanks and support for that. And we had our own celebration with Andy earlier this year, which Clark and his daughter were graciously enough came down to attend at Delta when we celebrated Andy's birthday in March of this year. And just like you, we wanted to honor just a great hero and a great person. And so we named I'd argue, the most important building on our campus, the Ambassador Andrew J. Young Jr. Building, where we welcome and bring in all new hires for the very first time to our airline. This is the place that every single new person that comes into Delta passes through the doors of the Ambassador Young building. And in that building, we have an exhibit of Andy's life and his work and his achievements and accomplishments. And so while they're sitting there waiting to go into first day training, they get exposed to the man who built and created so much of what Delta is today. And it was a thrill that day to be part of that honor, just as it is a thrill today to be part of the Cornerstone movement. And as I see the future of our world being developed here, we're also honored to be able to participate and have our own mural in this room to honor the to honor our youth and give them a vision for the future. At Delta, we like to say no one better connects our world than our company, and now that Detroit, again through Andy's encouragement, Delta has expanded, and Detroit's our second largest city in the world that we serve. But to connect the world, we must reflect the world and be part of it, to be understanding of it, and to be able to best serve it. And this picture here, I think, hopefully will inspire many Cornerstone students to get the opportunity to grow into the aviation sector and continue not just to serve the great city of Detroit, but to serve our world with great honor and design. So thank you, Clark, for having us be part of this. Ambassador Young, we love you, and you're a hero in so many ways, and we're going to continue to honor you for all you do for us and continue to do for us. And thank you all for the great welcome we've all received here while we've been here in Detroit the last couple of days. Thank you all.
Now, there is going to be one final song, and Mahalia Jackson, I've heard the recording of this so many times, and it's "Come Children, Let Us Sing," which means it's a little bit of audience participation. But I want to say one other final word. As I mentioned, today is literally the day, 31 years ago, that Adam Maida spoke at the Economic Club of Detroit. And in the great poetry of history, it is our friend Ed Bastian who today will be speaking at the Economic Club of Detroit. And Cornerstone could have no finer person represent us at that moment and in that place than Ed Bastian. So let's give Ed another round of applause. This is it. Thank you all, and all of you who are watching Livestream, who are part of this broad and beloved community of friends. Let us grow, and let us be a part of the lives of all these children, and our lives will then be complete. Eric?
the Lord. Come on, children, let's shout all about God's rich reward. Guide our footsteps every day, keep us in the narrow way. Come on, children, let's sing of the goodness of the Lord. Well, come on, children, let's sing of the goodness of the Lord. Come on, children, let's shout all about God's rich reward. Guide our footsteps every day, keep us in the narrow way. Come on, children, let's sing. Come on, children, let's shout. God Almighty has brought us out, none like Him without a doubt. Come on, children, let's sing of the goodness of the Lord. He has been my all and all. He will never know let me fall. That is why I can sing, that is why I can shout, because I know what it's all about. The goodness of the Lord. Yeah. Come on, children, let's sing about the goodness of the Lord. Come on, children, let's shout all about God's rich reward. God, our footsteps every day, keep us